Hello there. In this video, we are still working with these notes that you have made in your notebooks, and we are going to practice using these a little bit more. So let's take a look in the textbook at page 4. This is lesson 2, working with 3-digit numbers. And I am going to read this because it's important stuff. You can speed up your video to double time so it plays faster, or you can skip this entirely if you understand it. But I will tell you that this is incredibly important for test day, so make sure you truly understand what's going on here before you skip. All right, page 4, lesson 2, 3-digit numbers. Base 10 blocks can be used to model 3-digit numbers. And those are what you see pictured here, the flats, rods, and cubes. Like a place value chart, base 10 blocks model ones, tens, and hundreds. The unit cube represents 1. The tens rod represents a bundle of 10 unit cubes. So what they're saying is if you take 10 of those and stack them up, you get 1 of these. Then if you take 10 of those and put them together, the hundreds flat represents a bundle of 10 rods or 100 cubes. So the 100 can be described as 10 of these or as 100 of these. Now, if you learn percent with me down the line, you will see this come back because that is a perfect model when we study percent. You can think of 100 as 100, a bundle of 10 tens, or a bundle of 100 ones. The numbers 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, and 900 refer to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 hundreds with 0 additional tens and 0 additional ones. Example, and this is a tough one. Don't underestimate this question. How many tens are in 230? So let me do this a couple of ways. First of all, I want you to mark the word tens because that's a key word, and mark 230 because that's a key number. Now, a place value chart will help you here if you want to use that. Just sketch yourself that little table that we talked about and make a row here for your header. And let's see here, we have hundreds, tens, and ones. And then the 2, 3, 0 goes into, and I usually put a line to show that's a 0, not an O. But that would be our place value chart, which shows us 2 flats, 3 rods, and 0 cubes. So the question is literally saying how many rods are in 230? Well, I know there are 3 because I can see them here. But remember that each of those flats is a bundle of rods. So literally, let me get a different color. This one flat is a bundle of 10 rods. This flat is a bundle of 10 rods. And then we have the 3 rods that you see there. So the answer to this question, a lot of people will tell me it's 3 because they're just looking at the rods. But you have to remember that those big flats are bundled rods. So you actually have 20 rods here plus 3 rods here. So there are a total of 23 rods or 23 tins in this model. So our answer should be 23. That's tricky. Just be careful. If you're still a little confused, stop the video, rewind it, and watch that section again, over and over, until it helps sink in. And if you're still confused, it's okay. Talk with your instructor, and he or she can help you understand that. We have these flats and rods in the classroom that you can come in and look at, and it will help it make sense. Here's a test question. How many hundreds are in 423? So let's circle the number and put a box around the important word. Again, a place value chart will help you if you want to use that. And I think rather than have you have to sit and watch me keep drawing this, I'm going to take a picture of this one. When I get it drawn, there's 100, 10, and 1. So let me take a picture of this, and I won't have you sit and watch me do that over and over. All right, so 423 goes into this place value chart. And the question is, look at the box you drew. How many hundreds are there? So that's the key that we're looking for. Now, the rods, I have 2 of them, but I would need to have 10 of them in order to get another 100. So there are 4 hundreds in this number, and that is C as in Charlie. The hint says to think of place value as you determine the number of ones, tens, or hundreds. Moving on to page 5. Number 1. How many tens are in the number 639? So here's my key word. There's my key number. And they've gone ahead and drawn the place value chart for me. And that gives us the answer. Actually, I'm going to do this. Bear with me a second. Their chart is a lot prettier than mine. So I'm going to try to take a screenshot of that. Okay, sorry. How many tens? So we need to look at the tens place in the chart, and there are 3 of them. But when you go to look at your answers, you notice that 3 is not one of them. So that's a pretty good clue that I've done something wrong, or in this case, I just haven't finished. Because remember what those hundreds are? They're bundles of tens. They're bundles of rods. So 1 flat, 100, equals 10 of those rods. So 2 flats would be 20 of those rods. 3 flats would be 30 of those rods. And I'm not going to do, well, let me just go ahead because I'm supposed to. 4 flats would be 40 rods. See how I'm counting by tens? 5 flats would be 50 rods. And I'm not taking shortcuts. That's important. Once you become an expert at this, you can take shortcuts. But as you're learning, shortcuts will get you into trouble. So we have the 3 rods that we've got in our chart, plus 60 rods that came from those hundreds. So our answer is actually C. There are 63 tens in that number. Number 2. What is the missing number? Anytime they've drawn a box like that, that's important. They've already drawn the box for us. We're looking for what goes in that box. So I have 400, 500, and then it jumps to 700 and 800. 4, 5, 600 goes in the box. So the answer is B. Number 3. How many bundles of 10 does 160 have? So that's another way of asking how many, let's do this, bundles of 10. How many rods does 160 have? So I'm going to use that place value chart, if you will humor me for just a minute, because I have to do some whiting out here. But I am going to use this again. So theirs is just easier to read than that messy thing I made. Use your scrap paper, because that's the thing that will help you think. Your brain can't keep up with all these details. You need paper and processes to make that happen. Okay, so here's this one. Let's put our 160 in there. So 1, 6, 0. And these are rods. We don't have to worry about the cubes. There are none. But also they don't make rods. And then the hundreds, remember, are flats. And what do you know about a flat? One flat has how many rods? 10. So if you take those 10 rods and these 6 rods, that makes 16 rods. And that would be answer C. I would bet on one of those on a test. Use the model to answer questions 4 through 6. So I'm going to take a minute and just look at my model here. I see that I have 3 flats. That would be 300s. And I have 4 rods. That would be 4 10s or 40. Question 1, or actually question 4. How many hundreds are there? So the key word is hundreds, and my brain is telling me that means flats. And there are how many of those flats? There are 3. How many bundles of 10 does the model represent? Well, bundles of 10 is another way of saying rods. So how many bundles of 10 does the model represent? Well, I see 4 rods already, but I also have 3 flats. So if one flat is 10 rods, 2 flats would be 20 rods, and 3 flats, which is what we're looking at there in that picture, is equal to 30 rods. So if I take the 30 rods that are in those flats plus the 4 rods that are in the picture, how many rods do I have in all? I have 34. There are 34 bundles of 10 in that picture. Number 6 is tricky. How many bundles of 1 are there? Well, we call bundles of 1 cubes. So if I look at that picture of 3 flats and 4 rods, how many cubes are in there? If I wanted to count each cube, which I'm not going to, but if I did, how many would I have? So let me do a different color. This one has 100 cubes. This has 100 cubes. This has 100 cubes. So I have 300 cubes plus 4 rods. That would be 300s plus 4 rods, that's 40. And total that would be 340 of those cubes. Little bundles of 1 cube. There are a lot of them. I would much rather count rods and flats than individual cubes. All right, number 7. Use the model to answer questions 7 and 8. So let's take a look at our model first. And these are all rods. So my question is, how many rods am I looking at here? So let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's a flat. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So we have just counted 17 rods. And I'm going to go ahead and mark that flat just for my own reference. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's going to be right in here. This is a flat that I'm marking off because there are 10 of those rods. So I'm going to call that 1. Well, that's not going to be easy to do. This is 1 flat. So that's another way to say it. We can say that we have 17 rods, or we could say that we have 1 flat. And 7 rods. So either way you look at it, both of those would be true. So let's go ahead and take it one step further. If this flat has 100 cubes and these rods have 70, because they're 7 times 10, that would be 170 cubes in this picture. All right, let's look at our questions. Which model shows the same number? Well, we know that we have 1 flat and 7 rods. So here is a flat. That part's okay. But this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rods. So that is not, we need 7 rods. So here I have a flat. We're good there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rods. We need 7. Here I have a flat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rods. There's my answer. But let's go ahead and look at D, where we have a flat and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rods. So you see how all these answers are close? They're not making it easy for us, but it's okay. We can do this. The question was, I forgot to highlight it, which model shows the same number? So we're looking for an equal number. And that's going to be option C. It's this one right here. Is the same as that picture they gave us to start with. Okay, number 8. How many more tens rods would make another 100 or another flat? So let me, my nose is itching so bad. I'm sorry if I sound funny. I'm rubbing my nose. How many more tens rods would make another 100? And I want you to focus on this word 100 because that is another flat. So what they're asking is how many more of those rods would I need to get another flat? And I would have to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we would have to have, that one's wonky. We would have to have 3 more rods to make another flat. That's all they're asking. How many more of those would you need before you could make another flat here? And we would need 3. So that answer is going to be B as in boy.